it's time for a little life update, guys. I have so much to update you on. Instagram and TikTok just isn't the same, you know. I try, but it just doesn't give the same effect as me sitting in front of this camera right now, telling you my entire life story for the last year. So let's chat. I have not got over my fear of filming in public. Is this public? It's in my car. Just bear with me. I've basically collated all of the most popular questions I always get asked on my Instagram and my TikTok. It really comes down to these 3 categories: my job, my friendships, and my relationship. I'm sipping on an energy drink because I need all the help I can get for this one. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, because as I said in the last one, good things are coming, so you don't want to miss out. I'm gonna start with my job because I just want to get the boring one out the way. Obviously made a whole video about how I quit my corporate job to do social media full time. Fast forward to now, my official job title, because I can pretty much make up whatever I want when you're self-employed: content creator and a presenter. I'm kind of a hybrid between the two. I have zero regrets about leaving the corporate world. It's been an incredible year. It's definitely has highs and lows. I'm gonna make a whole video about kind of the switch from employment to self-employment and all the things I've learned and things I wish I knew. But overall, I am definitely much happier, I'm much healthier, and I get to sit in front of you guys making this video in the middle of the day in my car. So I cannot complain. As I said, I'm going to talk way more about my job in a different video, but I hope that gives you a good summary and insight, because that truly has been the biggest change between then and now when it comes to my YouTube content. Completely forgot to mention the fact that I am now a founder of a business, which is really exciting. Something that I always said when I quit my job and became a full-time content creator is that I really want to leverage my platforms and the communities I've built to make something really sustainable long-term. One of the ways in which I'm doing that at the moment is the fact that I founded a business with a couple of my friends. It's called The Creator Space. It's essentially a content creator community in the UK. It's such a fast-paced, growing industry that is highly unregulated, and there are so many things that you kind of have to learn on the job or figure out on your own, especially if you go full-time. You don't have a team around you to support you. You don't have an office to go into every day. So we really want to be that hub for content creators to come to. We founded that about this time last year, and it's going really well. We have a community now of about 400 content creators. In total, our combined following with our entire network is 100 million followers. The next thing I'm going to talk about is my relationship. The last time you probably saw me on your YouTube screen is when I was deeply living my best single life. I was single for about 2 years properly before I met my now boyfriend, and a lot of the content I created was how to be independent, how to live your best single life, how to not feel lonely. And I really loved creating that type of content because I know how much it helped so many girls out there. Even now, so many of my friends are newly single. I know that that content would be great for me to continue to make, but obviously I'm not single, and for the first 6 months of my relationship, I was so adamant about keeping it private, not sharing it on social media. I really had to understand how much of my private life I wanted to keep private, how high to set my boundaries, given that my full-time job is social media, and I know that people are so engaged with my opinions and my life, and importantly, my relationships. But at the same time, it got to a point where I felt like I was just not being authentic because I wasn't sharing the fact that I was in a relationship. And obviously my single content kind of took an abrupt halt, and then there wasn't any sort of relationship content. So I just felt like I was missing a huge part of myself, and I was not sharing a huge part of my life with you guys. So I did subtly integrate relationship type things into my content gradually over the last year now. I feel like I've integrated it quite seamlessly, and it is such a big part of my life. And I'm not saying that when you get into a relationship that is the be all and end all and your entire life centers around that, but I do feel like when you meet your life partner and you meet someone that you're building your life together with, building your wealth, you're doing most of the things on your weekend with that person, it's a bit weird if I don't talk about it, and it's a bit weird if I don't share it. We've been together for basically a year and a half now. At the beginning of my relationship, I was so scared to share anything because Nazar exists, okay? Evil eye exists, and especially if you're brown and you're in the South Asian community, one, relationships and being open about a relationship in general is quite a taboo topic. I don't know why, but it just is. But two, people do not like to see other people happy. I've known this from as soon as I started social media. People in the South Asian community love to hate on other people doing well in the South Asian community. And so that was a huge reason why I held back on sharing my relationship for so long. But here we are. I'm at a point now where I am really stable and happy and so secure in my relationship that even though I do believe Nazar exists, we are so strong and protect each other. That is really all that matters. I love the fact that I can share my relationship with you guys, my learnings, my advice, my journey, and my process of now buying a home with him. I wouldn't be able to share any of that if I didn't share my relationship. Anything you want to know is probably on TikTok, but if you want to know anything on here, then obviously drop a comment below, because I love talking about things that are important to me, and that is one of those things. When it comes to my relationship, I also need to be really sympathetic to the fact that my partner isn't a social media person, and I want to protect that, and I also respect his privacy so much. So there are certain boundaries in place. I doubt you'll be seeing him on this channel, and that's just the way it's going to be. I'm really sorry, guys. Next topic up for discussion, my third and final topic for this video. See, I made notes for you guys. I don't want to miss anything out. Friendships. So let's talk about friendships in your 20s and how my friendships have changed tremendously in the last 2 years of my life. Now, I want to say a lot, but I don't want to say too much, and I think it's so important to acknowledge that there were some really significant people in my life who you guys would have seen on this channel, on my TikToks, that are no longer in my life. Long story short, I've done all the healing from those experiences that I can now comfortably talk about them and share things that I've learnt and how I've sort of grown from those experiences. And I don't really know where to start, so I'm just going to sit here and just talk about what I can talk about. But ultimately, I lost, I would say, 3 of my best friends, who I considered best friends then, in the space of 6 months. It was probably one of the hardest things I went through at the time, but in hindsight, the best thing I ever went through. Those people were not my true friends, and I've come to terms with that. I have really digested and processed the way in which things went down and how people were treated, and those people were not my real friends, which makes this whole conversation a lot easier because I've let go of something that was never really there in the first place. There are some harsh truths that I have had to learn from friendships in the last couple of years, but I do think your mid-20s are a time where you truly do learn quality over quantity in friendships is so much more important, and the people who want to be in your life and who support you and love you and care for you and don't want anything in return, those people will stay in your life and those people will show their true colours. As for everyone else, I'm not going to lie, your mid-20s are probably a time of your life where your friendships get tested and your friendships get filtered, and that's okay. Losing friends as you get older is such a natural part of life. It's so important as well, because the older you get, the more your priorities change and the less time you have for friendships that are superficial, that don't add any value to your life, and that don't make you happy. Because life is about being happy at the end of the day. The older you get, the smaller your circles get, and that is normal. There's nothing wrong with you if that happens to you. There's nothing wrong with you if you're struggling to have friends and maintain friendships, because it isn't easy. You're doing enough just trying to pay the bills, do a good job at work, maintain your family relationships, look after your mental and physical health. You're doing enough on your own, and then you want to bring friendships into the mix. It's not easy, and I completely want to validate anyone who might be struggling with that right now, because it's hard. It's just not that fun sometimes. One of the things I've also learned is how to identify red flags, and I think that I used to be such a people pleaser when I was younger that I would just be really blind to the red flags, and I would let things just go over my head or brush things under the carpet that, to be honest, were just not acceptable, because I didn't want to risk being confrontational, bringing it up, potentially losing a friendship. And guys, the minute I brought things up that were really unacceptable behaviours, the minute people had an issue with me, when you set your boundaries, the people that were benefiting from you not setting your boundaries are the same people that will have an issue with you setting your boundaries. That could not be more true. The minute I sort of started sticking up for myself and started raising things that I thought were unfair or rude or just outright impolite is the minute that I actually started seeing who my true friends were. I also had to learn how to have really frustrating conversations, like, you know, the conversations where you're literally having it with someone who is not emotionally intelligent, and selfish people will never ever put themselves in anyone else's shoes, which is something else I had to learn, because you can try and explain how you feel and your opinion on something 100 times over, but if you're telling someone that ultimately is selfish and is unwilling to listen to what you're saying, they're not a true friend, and you're never going to get anywhere with that person. That your energy is best served elsewhere. I've also learned that not everyone is brought up in the same way. Not everyone has the same morals and ethics in life. No matter how much you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, people are just not brought up the same. Not everyone knows how to communicate like an adult, and not everyone knows how to deal with their emotions like an adult. And the older you get, the more you're unwilling to accept people like that into your life. I used to bend over backwards to try and accommodate for these types of people who were quite toxic and quite immature, and try and explain how there's better ways to handle situations, but ultimately you can't teach someone else that. That comes with someone else's growth and someone else's learning and someone else's maturing. Is not in your control. And controlling the controllables was kind of the main thing that I had to learn in a lot of these situations. People choose to react in a way that does not align with my values, then it's okay to say goodbye to those people. I feel like that brings me to the end of this video. A little life update about all the important things in my life. I am at a point, I can hand on heart say, where I feel so at peace with who is in my life, how I'm choosing to spend my time, how I'm choosing to spend my money. I really want to kind of share that journey with you guys. Drop any questions you have below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because lots more of this to come. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you lots. Bye.